I think whatever happens between now and then, Josh Hart's going to play a big role in it. And obviously, he's looked good early on with the Knicks. Ian, I'm curious about your early impressions, Josh Hart, what you thought of the deal and what you think of the player.
Like with Brunson, better than I thought. So far, anyway. It's early. It's a small sample size, but he looks like a perfect Tom Thibodeau player. He's a great rebounder for his size, one of the best in the league at his size, if not the best. Very good defender, plays with a lot of heart, no pun intended. And the chemistry he has, obviously, with Brunson could be a real factor going forward. I think, too, he represents a bit of a threat to other people that if they don't raise their performance, perimeter players on the Knicks, he's going to take a lot of your minutes. And I think competition internally is always a very good thing. But it looks like he was an ideal trade deadline acquisition, a perfect Tibbs kind of player. And also a threat to some other guys on the perimeter who need to elevate their own performance or else they're going to lose playing time to him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you look at the closing lineups, and that's kind of my litmus test for how Tom Thibodeau values a player. You've seen Josh Hart closing early on in his Knick tenure. Again, it's been 5 minutes, but that's where I look. Is he taking away minutes from a Quentin Grimes, an Emmanuel Quickly, or an RJ Barrett in those closing minutes? I don't know if Tom Thibodeau would change his starting lineup because Josh Hart is here, but I look at the closing minutes, and that's where, to me, I see how the coach is valuing individual players. Ashley, your thoughts on Hart? Did you want to see the Knicks do more at the deadline, or were you satisfied with how it played out?
I'm always on the side of playing it safe unless, the second coming of Michael Jordan is available. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you have to go ahead and keep a realistic mindset of what this team is. And that was my biggest concern, is being realistic. What are we trying to accomplish this year? And how can we go ahead and obtain that with what's in the market right now? You don't want to go ahead and make any drastic moves that aren't really going to move the needle for you this year, or maybe even next year. The league's constantly changing, constantly evolving. I like what they did. I like that they went ahead and added a piece that they desperately needed. This Knicks team needed a closer. They needed someone they can trust to have the ball in their hand. And Josh Hart plays incredible on both ends of the court. He'll give you points offensively. He's going to give you excessive effort defensively, and for all 4 quarters that he's in the game. I mean, his stat line, 13 and 5 last night, doesn't even go ahead and showcase the full spectrum of how he impacted that game. And that's what you need, someone who's willing to go ahead and just do what needs to be done on both ends of the court. And that's what Josh Hart brings. So I absolutely love the acquisition. And I think it's just the piece that this Knicks team needed to take what they already have, because there's a lot of magic happening on this court. I know sometimes it's hard to see with the ups and downs that sometimes this team goes through, but I think this is the perfect piece to add some stability and really push them to the next level, so that next season, regardless of what happens, at the end of the playoffs, if they win the series or whatever, you have a really good foundation to really start capitalizing and building from.